Hi guys, I forgot to add a bit of um, bit to the end of the story. After they went through that whole crying thing, where Melissa came home from the hotel and they cried in each other's arms, and I said they went to counseling and fixed their family issues. And one day, they were on a kayaking trip. And Melissa, by that time, was free to talk about Jack because before she was scared. And Amy was. Brent was willing to talk about Amy, but Melissa wasn't willing to talk about Jack. And about a few months after they had had their breakthrough and they were going through family counseling, Melissa found a box with um, with a with a few of Jack's things, and in that box, she found a picture of her Jack and Amy. On the beach and a few pictures of Amy when she was pregnant and whatever. And one day when um, the family was at the beach, because at that time Marianne had moved back in with Brent and Melissa and the kids. And they were working out their issues. And at that time, the family was at the beach. And so Melissa um, one day gave the pictures to Mary Ann. And she said, I think you would want these. They're of your mom and of your dad. And Mary Ann looked at this pictures of Jack and Amy and pictures of where Amy was pregnant, when Amy was pregnant, and them at the beach. And Melissa looked at the pictures and looked at the tide coming in and looked at how beautiful it was. And she said, Jack loved to white water raft. And Brent came over and said, yeah, Amy loved to white water raft too. She loved the water. And they both laughed, and they said, he said, and I when we went whitewater rafting, although I hated it, Melissa said, Jack, when I was scared, he said, Melissa, you've gotta just do it. You've gotta dance the tide. Even though it may seem challenging, you've gotta just go for it and um, know that if you go with the tide, it won't hurt you. But if you fight the tide, that's when it hurt you. And she said, Melissa said, and when Jack died, I was so destroyed, I was so hurt that I was fighting with myself. Even when I met Brent and got married, I was fighting with what the Lord was doing. I was fighting the fact that Jack had died. I was fighting the fact that here was this girl with proof saying that my boyfriend had slept with another woman. And I was fighting the tide. But you coming into our lives taught me to not fight the tide, to dance with it, to to know that this hard tide, that this hard wave that came in and hit our family was not to be fought against. It was to be danced with and written on, and it was to be in a way celebrated. Although the circumstances weren't good, they brought you into our lives, and instead of dancing with the tide, like Jack told me that day, I decided to fight with the tide, and I was dealing with a lot of anger and a lot of issues that I managed to hide. And I was feeling very lonely in that spot. Although I was married with 2 kids, I was still fighting the tide and fighting what the Lord was trying to do in my life. And I just want to tell you, Marianne, thank you for teaching me to dance the tide. Thank you for teaching me that the tide isn't always ugly, that it's something to be danced with, that it's almost something to be celebrated, if not celebrated, at least learned from. And thank you for reminding me what your father told me, of not to fight with the tide, but to dance with it. And they hugged each other, and the family went together and said, and lived together and just grew in grace together. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my story. And I'm so glad to be with you. Thank you, and see you next week. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, and I won't reach my destination if I never try. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Thank you, guys. Bye.